Now, I'm going to give you an example that I think is really easy.
No, unfreeze the screen.
What was that?
Unfreeze the screen.
You unfreeze the screen. See, why do you have to call me out like that? Just quietly point out. That way everybody in YouTube land doesn't have to know. Yeah, YouTube land. Should be the name of like a movie or something. I'm giving everybody all kinds of great ideas for media. YouTube land, that'd be a great movie. Yeah, Disneyland. It's great. Now, if I ask you to factor this, can you see a common factor? Why? Because I want to know, do you see a common factor?
Why?
I'm not going to say it again.
How do you know it's y? Because there's two of them? Well, because I see y as part of the product for both the x, y, and the 5y, right? So what would you guys do?
Y parentheses x plus 5.
Right, you use your color-coded markers here. Take out the y and you'll be left with x plus 5. Don't you see how pretty that is? You match up the colors. See, the y is a common factor and you're left with x plus 5. See, it goes right there. Who's with me on that? Right? All right, now this is where I'm going to lose you. I shouldn't, but I will. Of course, if you're watching this on YouTube, just play the video back. It's totally acceptable. All right, total mayhem. You may say, I will say, I claim that this problem is pretty much the same as the one we just did. You guys will say, Mr. Craig, you're wrong. But I know I'm right. See, you just have to come to my way of thinking. Are these problems the same?
No.
Yes.
I've got 3 yeses, 1 no, so you're outvoted.
I'm saying yes.
Now don't start saying no to give her some credence.
They're saying yes because it should be right.
You took out a common factor of y like it was nothing, right? Are you with me? Who's with me on the first one, right? Here's the thing. Common factors don't have to be single terms like this. Common factors can be groups. Because you see here in this big piece and this big piece, there's a common factor of x plus 2. So I can factor out the x plus 2, and then what would I have left? I would have x plus 5. Let me guess, mind blown, right?
Yeah.
Why? When it was a y, you didn't say a word.
Right.
You were happy, you wrote it down. But just because it's something larger, why does there have to be something different about it?
It usually is.
No.
Except not in this one.
But did you see how this is the same factor, so I'm just going to write it out front like that? And I'm left with the stuff in orange, x plus 5. Now, there's a reason I show this to you, is so that we can actually do this next thing in terms of grouping. It's what, in terms of factoring. It's called factoring by grouping. So we're going to talk about factoring by grouping. And in factoring by grouping, we need to be careful here. You use this. Use with polynomials that have 4 terms. Use with polynomials that have 4 terms. Let me give you an example of this. If I were to write this, x to the third plus 4x squared plus 2x plus 8. Just the way this problem stands, is there a common factor?
2x.
You can take it. What can you take out of all four of these terms?
You can't.
Oh.
I can't, right? There's nothing that's common to everybody. So I'm going to create groups. Now I want you to make sure. I want to make sure that you create groups the appropriate way. Okay. You may have seen in the past just using parentheses, but I don't like that. It bothers me. I'm just going to underline. I'm going to look at this first group right here. Look at just these first two terms. What's the common factor?
X squared.
Okay, common factor is x squared. And if I factor out the x squared, what do I have?
X plus 4.
I have x plus 4. Okay. When I look at my second group, which contains the terms positive 2x plus 8, what's the common factor there? 2. Now you got to be careful, because if I just write 2 like this, it looks like maybe it's multiplication with this guy. But was this stuff being multiplied times the first two terms? No. It was addition, right? So it's a plus 2. If I take out a 2, what do I have?
X plus 8.
I have x plus what?
8.
4.
Oh,
4.
4.
And let me tell you something. Factoring by grouping will only work when the stuff that's left inside the parentheses matches up exactly with each other. Now look at what I have here, and look at what I did in the last example. Do you see the connection that I was trying to make here? See, these guys both had an x plus 2, so I wrote that out front as my common factor. And when I did that, I was left with what you see in orange as the x plus 5. I'm going to do something similar here. You see that both of these guys contain a factor, that's part of the multiplication, that is x plus 4. So what do you think I'm going to do with that?
X plus 4.
I'm going to write that up front, so that's x plus 4. What's the other stuff?
Squared plus
X
2.
squared plus 2.
It's x squared plus 2. So I'm treating that binomial as my common factor that I'm going to write up front. Here's my binomial. So here's my binomial. And the stuff that was left over was my x squared plus 2. Right? Now how do you know if this answer is right? Factor it out? No, no, no. We can multiply. We don't factor it out. We were factoring. But to check means we multiply.
You can use FOIL though, right?
Yeah, FOIL. So what's the product of the first terms?
It'd be X squared, X squared.
What about the outside terms?
Oh, the outside terms?
Yep.
Eight.
No.
Oh.
The outside terms.
So
Because basically you did x times x squared, and now do x times 2, so that's 2x. Inside, what do you get? Is wrong. Try again.
4x squared
Plus 4x squared. There we go. Then what? Last terms?
plus 8.
Is that the same as my original problem up here?
Yes.
The only difference is the order of the terms, but this is addition, so you can easily flip those guys around. So I see that everything checks out here. Questions about that one?
How'd you get 2x? X times x squared, how's that 2x?
That's not.
How'd you get
X times x squared is x to the third. But then x times 2 is 2x.
Okay, I got you.
Are you feeling me now?
Good.
It's awkward.
You made it all.
You're the, we'll do another problem. Let's pretend this never happened. Alright, 3x cubed minus 4x squared minus 15x plus 10. Is there a common factor for everybody? No. So I'm going to work this just like the last problem. This problem is already written in descending order, so let's take care of that by looking at the first two terms. What's the common factor in the first two terms? X squared, and then what would I be left with if I factor that out? 3x minus 4. All right. In my second group, it has a negative 15x plus 10. So since I'm trying to factor something with a leadoff guy that's negative, I need to make sure that I incorporate the negative along with the common factor. Just trust me on this. You want things to work out the right way.
Negative 5?
Right. So the common factor here is negative 5. It's not going to work. Let's see. If I do negative 15x divided by negative 5, what do you get?
Three.
You know why this is not going to work? Because I didn't write the problem correctly.
Okay.
We're going to do a quick little editing here. Well, let's see why this wouldn't work. Yeah, this is a good thing I'm doing this because I'm. What's positive 10 divided by negative 5?
2. That was a dumb mistake.
So does that work? Are these guys the same?
No.
So that's not going to work out for me. So factoring by grouping is not going to work for this guy. Now let me show you the way it was supposed to be.
Wow.
You impressed with my artistic abilities there? It could be like, I think somebody sent me a message or a text or something like that where they did it that way instead of the other way where it made it look like it was, smiling or whatever. Emoticons are awesome! I can totally convey how I'm feeling in just a few characters. Alright, let's try this again. Don't even be making noises like it's all my fault or something. You guys were the ones that were distracting. So I maintain that it's still x squared times 3x minus 4. Do y'all agree? And the common factor in the other group is what? Negative 5. Now if I divide out of negative 5 this time, what do I have? 3x minus 4. Do y'all agree?
Mm-hmm.
Now can I finish this?
Mm-hmm.
What lets me finish it now? Those guys are the same, right? So how do I write this? 3x minus 4 times x squared minus 5. Now, some students may argue with me, saying, well, this is just one answer. There is really just one answer. The only difference that there may be, since this is multiplication, what do we say is the great thing about multiplication? Order doesn't matter. So if you wrote it like this, or if you were to say x squared minus 5 times 3x minus 4, isn't that the same thing? Still the same thing. I don't really care exactly how you write that, as long as you have the correct factors there.